Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is another, well, it might be a 1 hour video, hard to say. 1 hour presentation. Yes. Maybe. I was going to do as for conscious channeling, but it doesn't seem to be. No, the insectoids are here. That doesn't seem to be working out very well. So I'll do this other channeling I do. I don't even know what I call it anymore. Just whatever. It's not trans channeling. It's I don't know. It's something else. It doesn't matter. This is a galactic channeling. For those that are not aware of the alien. We'll also do from the spirit world also. Okay, no more rambling. So, much love to everyone. Blessings to the universe. And welcome to the Ivan Teller channel of strangeness. So, much love to you. Greetings. One moment as we align this one to our energies. We are the Nordics. The tall blondes that you are known by your histories, at least your and galactic histories. We say greetings to you from our perspective. To all of you, love, enlightenment. You can call me. Does that truly matter? I am from the. One moment. Yes. Yes, it's a very important connection here. We're trying to get to speak to Earth like this. Many aren't aware they can do this. We are the Palladian Council of the Tall Blonde Nordics, connected to your Ashtar Command and other federations, opening a door for you to come in to our galactic family. Now you will see more of these. Maybe in the coming days. Eventually. You need a name for me. I have many. Depending on what planet I connect with. Because it's hard. Yes, I give you my name. It's like you don't know what it means and not understanding any of it. So that truly matters of a name. Frederick is a good name for your planet. It brings much humor to many also, which is good for you. It is good to bring this humor into your reality. But yes, first, to give you one thing we want to clear up before we begin, that many do see the Nordics as threatening at one time, and that is true, and we are still dealing with that right now also. Yes, many have had not necessarily the most positive reaction to our energies. Not to say they don't, all of us, but abductions, influence on your Earth, such as, I do not remember the name of it, but it does not truly matter, but some cults that are connected to us, which we are not too proud of, but we were sometimes Nordics and other malevolent beings. Of course, not all of us are malevolent. Understand that. Only a small bunch. But understand, though, yes, some might think it's a trait. Not at all. You must overcome these things, but that is up for you. That is up to you to choose what you want to go through. But understand, just like any malevolent being, just like your vampire, you allow them in, then they take over the entire place. And that is what happened with the Nordics. They do many species, but many species that seem like, oh, we're only positive. There's always a service to self side that is busy. As you know, in your Earth, we can go into that maybe tonight. We do feel that many need to have this cleared up. It does seem like it is a mess on your planet because of the Nordic energies, which, understand, this isn't all of us, only a small. Yes, I am being, yes, that is fine. To clear this up before we begin into our true message to you all. One moment. Yes, many of the Nordics, I can go into the Syrians also if it is appropriate for our communication, but many of the Nordics are involved with your looks, such as what's you as feminine to make females want to be a certain way to be beautiful. You are all beautiful no matter what. But you know, the Nordics, the malevolent ones, once they have this type of Barbie type of figure, and also for the males also. This is the way you're supposed to look, which is untrue. But of course, it's in your magazines and your nonsense on your planet of media. Even on your televisions, which is, especially your Fox News, that one's a fascinating one. That is not a, that is a propaganda machine with Vogue magazine written all over it now, isn't it? And that has much of a Nordic influence. Now, many take, such as reptilians, take a Nordic influence and use that on your human race. Also with pills, whatever it can to form the way you look. Now, there's much more into this, but we are just briefly going into this information. Yes, medical pills that enhance your look, some Botox that's not healthy for you, just to enhance you, to make you look in a certain way. Sometimes to make you look more Nordic-like. Either way, we know that brings much confusion to many as they enter this earth. And that is done on purpose, to bring much confusion, to make you want to be a certain way that you were never intended to. Just so you can be confused. It's another way of confusion, such as your religions, and on and on. Your Syrians have much to do with your religions. They realize that religion is a good way to keep you at arms with each other. And Nordics are involved with that also, but nothing like the Syrians. I did not come here to dish on anyone, but it seems like some of this needs to be known. I am being directed to go into this direction. I was not actually intended to do this. Ah, yes, we are part of Ashkar Command. You're going to hear more from us. We are part, as I said, from many federations, allowing your Earth, because many are tuning in at this time, allowing your Earth to go into an awakening process of who am I? Who are my galactic families? One moment. Is there anything else I should say before I begin? I'm talking to my alliance at this time. Ah, the Reptilians. Well, yes, they want to say that they are not the only ones causing ruckus on your planet. They are bringing much healing also. Many humanitarians are brought from the reptilian energy into your Earth. Many positive reptilians are connecting with these starseeds as they enter, and keeping them on the right path. As they enter, they make an agreement. As they enter your Earth through birthing processes, they are the reptilians, the positive ones, work with them to be a humanitarian on your planet, to clear out much of the confusion you have on it. You can say even channelers are humanitarians that work with the reptilians. This one and others. Healers also. You're all healers, but some are dedicated to healing, as you could all become healers. You all become almost whatever you want. I want to say almost, because there's some things you're just not made here to do, such as architecture, but even that you can download if you wish. if you have a passion for it, that is probably the best direction to go, but because you'll get bored with it if you do not follow your passions, but that is for another day. We want to just say that we send much love to your society for it to be in this complexity of financial disarray. You see. One moment. Yes. And also the reptilians like to add that your finances will, yes, not to be perfect. They never will be, as you can see. But no financial meltdown is seen at this time. It is much, not to say it's all disinformation, but it is a fear which is much understood because there's always the unknown. It is much understood there. But for the most part, but understand this. Now this is a download this one, this conduit has received. As you connect to spirit, as you connect more to who you are, to your, not necessarily have to be galactic, just a spiritual enlightenment. You are unclothing this human vessel to see your soul and how powerful you are. And you realize that if there is financial calamity, you will be fine. You will make it work. You will find food. You will find shelter. You will make this work if there's a financial meltdown. Have confidence in yourself. Yes, in God, but in yourself. That you will make it through okay. No matter what, you will find a way. Yes, there might be a chance where you have no food at all. Maybe, hopefully not, starve for a long time, but like I said, this is an example. Not to say it's going to happen, but you understand that you will find what you need. Your angels, you will all work together to bring this into focus. The fear-mongering gets you nowhere. It is best to just love who you are. Explore who you are. Meditation is one. Or just not have any fear at all. Whatever comes through it, whatever you feel like being, be that. But I've done enough preaching already. I did not come here to preach, but it seems like a message that everyone needs to hear maybe over and over again that I'm being told is sometimes beneficial to others. One moment. Yes, in some ways it feels like some of this history Earth is not always important, but for some it will be. Because many of you are world builders and not remembering it, where you're part of planets as they become a civilization. So many of you are remembering these positions on Earth. Now understand, the tall blondes, not all, but many, there is much to our society as there is all. To go into those details is not always important. What's most important is for your Earth to find a healing place of self-reflection, a useful healing place. But for our society, we do have many, as your Earth will call it, departments, but that's not what we call them. But one of them is preserving worlds as they are built. We make ourselves available in part of the processes of worlds as they're being created. Not all of them. Some insectoids want nothing to do with us. But we are part of civilizations as they're, I want to say, grown on worlds. To give you a brief history, there is much there in your history that is not needed to be known. Not yet. Yes, we're not going into full details. on things that are not quite important at the moment, at least will give you an awakening, at least a roadmap. Maybe you can stop a little bit and look around and see what you connect with. It can't give you everything. It is not needed for that. But it's also for you to discover on your own. But your Martian energies play a big role, that's already been said, in your Earth's evolution. As your Earth was created by many beings, much, yes, of your God, but also much of your Arcturians, Elohim, and other species that have not been mentioned yet, ever, and don't necessarily need to be at this time. But this Earth was always intended for human life. Now, what type of human life was always up to debate? Because it was I would not say hostile, but it was unusual because of its minerals, because of its fabrics, of its soil. Its DNA was unusual. We have not seen anything like it. Yes, Mars is similar, but nothing like this. In many ways, this was much more dense, much more complicated, but it is new. It is newer than your Mars. So it is different than your Mars. More complicated in many ways. You can say there's passages within it that you reptilians figured out how to open, as I would say, dimensions, to allow other beings into this world, and not all of them were positive. That might give you an idea of the hostility here. You could say they filled it up with beings that were complicated. Your archons are one of them. There's much details of your archons, but it is not needed to be known at this time. Well, we are going to go into, yes, our perspective. There are millions, billions of perspectives of your planet. The other Earths that you have not connected to either. Those are up to you to connect with. Many of you are on these other worlds, and your lives are more positive. And in this one, this version of Earth, is more negative. So you'd much rather connect to the more positive one than the negative one. So when you look in your history, you say, oh, yes, I didn't see it like that, but I enjoyed myself. Well, it was from another timeline where you were unaffected by negativity. In this timeline, the going into timelines is very complicated, but for the most part, there are different viewpoints that don't necessarily need to be discovered at this time. But the one we're going to give you tonight is that your human was not always intended to be human. Yes, a feline being was at one time intended to be here. Your Lyran energies, yes, were the strongest. But much happened as for I have to choose my words wisely here. I'm not going to go there. Either way, I'm not going to go there. As for your Ashtar command, what they spoke of yesterday, I cannot go into. But what I can say, as for the wars that went on, I can't go into any of that. Why? It is not important. There is much here. Yes, I do not need water, I believe. Nah. Yes, there's much excitement here. And so much wants to be said, and the body's not fast enough to say it. That should give you an idea of how we operate. But yes, and this one is tired, but it is fine. Let me go more into this. The reason it's taking a minute is because, yes, we did not have all this down of exactly what we'd be saying. We were still connecting this one, but other way. All right, one moment. Your human body was a project that was many tests, much gray influence was involved with it, as many other species. But from our viewpoints, the Greys played a large part as for your DNA and how your internal, what is the word, your internal organs are placed, where they go. Now we had an influence on that also, but your Greys played a important part of it. As for choosing the human body, it's because of the reptilian energies that were here. Now this is one viewpoint. There are several. There's much discussion going on here at this time also. But due to the conflicts we had with other species here in your early days of this earth, the human body seems to be the right choice for this environment. Yes, it was always intended for the weird energies, but was never 100% was going to actually be a human or a feline being. As it was at one time, as I say, a feline, but much changed because of reptilian anger over that. Not to say we gave it to the humans or we took this world, but the reptilians did see themselves as ownership of this planet and wanted nothing to do with a feline presence here. Even when the felines were here actually before them, but not here very long. Now some of us disagree with that. The reptilians say, oh, we were here first. That's not entirely true. But of course, this is our perspective, or the Wirrans. As for the Wirrans were here and then left, only because they never go into details on that. They stay silent on the reason why they left. But as when the reptilians arrived, they made this their home. There were outposts of Wirran energies as they prepared for this Earth's cycle, never thinking of the reptilians to move in as quickly as they did. There was, yes, insectoid energy here also. But the reptilians, when no human, no Wirran energy here, and the insectoids also agreed with them. So there was much turmoil in your Earth. But as for the invention of your human, much went into the scalability of how many to be here and what would be their purpose here. You don't just come to a world and have no purpose. Of course, you discover that purpose, but still, it is good to have some sort of means of being here. But that is another story. Well, at this point, it is to advance the universe into a more a new age, and this Earth has much to do with it. There are other worlds that are involved with it also. There's always new worlds involved with expanding, pushing many species into a new way of looking at things. It constantly happens. New worlds are new ideas. Just like your planet has your startups, it's new things that spark, that bring out new imagination, new ideas, new tools. Worlds do this also. They push your planet, your universe, I say planet, universe, into a new way of looking at things. And this one was a major player, is a major player. Never thinking it was going to be at this scale, though. Yes. Now, as for the details of your human body, yes, I am told not to go into too much. It is not needed for your Earth. But one thing we will go into, I'm not even going to go into your Adam and Eve. Inception, your Atlantis, I'm going to have to skim over slightly also. Only because there's certain details that need to be known from the Nordic's viewpoint. One moment. As for, there are many topics to go into that can be known. As for your connection with Ashtar Command, that has always been a fabric of your world. The birth of this Earth gave it an advancement it's never seen before, because the beings that came into this world and reincarnated as a being here, as they had an incarnation here, and then they would leave this incarnation and go into Ashtar Command. It wasn't unlike anything we've ever seen before. It was the information that was gathered from this incarnation here was more advanced than we've ever seen. Faster? Yes. It was so just the direction of looking at things was so different. So we continued our experiments here on advancing this human reality. Because yes, many human bodies were created with a soul to enter. Without your baby, that was later. That wasn't always the beginning. Now understand this is one direction of looking at it. But yes, during your Atlantis, there were other places, not just Atlantis, where this was done. Yes, there's much activity here in your Florida. As for sweat and things of that sort. But yes, the soul would enter the body, and we would add on to it and perfect it more as we were testing, and as more souls were reincarnating and creating their own children, which came later on. That wasn't always the case in the beginning. Yes, our influence here, there is much to do with this, but yes, there was already a human vessel and we just perfected it. Now there are some humans that did have this procreation, this with the sex organs, yes. But some that we were working on did not have that. As we did our experiments, we removed much of that and experimented on different formats, ways of bringing children into this world. We are aliens, we are scientists, we have to try different things. Of course, the way you have it, now isn't always exactly how it was intended, especially the pain that went to bringing children into this world. Some have it easy and some don't. There's much reasons behind that we can't go into. That would take too much time. As the human vessel is being perfected, the Greys themselves had their own version of human. And this is what you see in your other races. We're not going to go into detail what race that is, but there are other different races on your planet. Different experiments, different discoveries. Not all survived over time, and as your biology began to change and adapt into more of a common biology, this is mostly where your Atlantis took off, as your Earth became more occupied with human energies. Many of them were higher beings, not all were. Some were of not necessarily your third density, but of your fourth density, that went about your world as to build and create their own places on your planet. Some ruins are seen, some are not. That is for another time. Not to say these are lower beings, but they are of a different. They still have the same biology as you. They're just at a different density level. Much of that has been changed over time. And even with your own biology, that has been shifted slightly. As for DNA, so you're not all exactly alike. But your intestines are all mostly in the same place, slightly different here and there. That is another telling of the tale. That will be some time to enter into. The reason I keep pausing is there's much information here that is being scanned as for what is allowed to be known and what needs to be not known. But I can tell you this, before your Atlantis went into its full functional as you remember it, if you remember anything at all, it was around for some time. And during this time, humans were changed on many fronts. Yes, alien had much to do with it. Many humans did not have the same functionality as for intestines as others did. You had different types of humans here at one time. Those have been removed from your planet. You are not manufactured by the same company, you could say. In the same parts, not exactly. This is what I'm trying to get into, and this is why this download is taking some time for it to be entered into your knowing. I understand this is ancient history. As for what it is use of this, because many of you have incarnations during these times. Some of you see as your caveman, Neanderthal, that is versions of this, but there's so much more advanced, but not to say they were not advanced, they were. But their biology, your intestines, mostly were the same. But there were beings before your history ever wrote, your Atlantean, early times of your Atlantis, beings with different biological formations within and external looks also. Some actually look very gray during your time. The humanoid gray. And there's so much that has been removed because some of it went a little too far. As for how you became, as you are, became the norm, that took a long time for that to fully find itself. You did not just come out of the box and have this form that you have. It took some time for it to evolve. Yes, you might have the face, the fingers, but the biology within your soul, within your body, say soul, within your body, how you make your body tick was always being removed and changed. Your brain also was removed and changed. Notice how it's more reptilian. Reptilian, yes, you could say, humor for you all, was the best at the time. It was a contribution to your biology. Now, I understand this is positive reptilians. It was a positive, and it worked so well with this new formation. Yes, God created man, an alien came and redesigned man, as we do with everything. And that was well known, to improve it, to, you know, not to be God, but to add our little flavor to what was just invented. But much work went into it. Yes, it took time for you to find, and yes, we understand even the bodies you're in now, they are drastically flawed. And that has to do by other alien influences, such as your Anunnaki and your Reptilian. So those of you that are saying, oh, this is all nonsense, you might want to look at it a little bit closer, especially when you connect to the Anunnaki and see what they did to your society. And moved it around. Even during now you can see it. But understand that your body is unable to, well, in some areas, where you can move your kidneys around to another place on your body. Either way. It will not function correctly, but you are finding ways of making it work correctly. So not to say it is impossible. It is not. Nothing's impossible. So that's all. Good night, folks. Tall Blondes signing out. No, that's not. That was a joke too. Yes, this one has many miles on him today. He's much channeling and just tired, but we can go on for a little bit longer because it'll bring much information that will be useful for you. One moment. But yes, we have to go into our what is allowed to be said and what is not. Yes, we have to be very careful in what we go into. Yes. On a much wider subject for you all. Oh, as for the name of this human, I'll let you name it. It does not necessarily need a name, but there's the gray humans, the Pleiadian humans, the Lyran humans, and now you are the human, you can say. So you all had our own version of what you should look like. Yes, it's like a parent dressing up a child. It's like, I want them to look like this, yes, but I want them to look like that. Much of that happened in your history. How you finally got to this, what you have now, there's much debate on how that worked. For the most part it just worked. It became popular like your VHS tape at one time. Or your DVD. Or now you're streaming. I'm not going to go into details on that. That joke has been redone several times. Your Netflix. It just worked. And it continues to work now, doesn't it? Now this one, yes, has many different colors, has many, but still your biology is pretty much the same on all of you. Yes, your version of it. But as the contributions continued on your human existence, you are now of a unknown species to us, of what you're truly capable of, we know, but still, there's still much not known of what you're truly capable of when you go into your higher density levels. We see how you are in this lower density level, how easy you are to be controlled, but it's much understood because of the environments you are born into. So not to say anyone's bad here, but to say there's as much difficulty here, which is true. And this difficulty is getting too many because your money system was put here to keep you on a leash, you can say, and keep you from connecting to channelers as myself, or as this one, and keeping you from angelic energies, alien. But your society, yes, chose to go into sleep mode, but that is for someone else to go into. Many at this time. Now to go into the world of today. Yes, I know I was going to go into more. Now understand, much I had to say was much filtered. It had to be. Yes, it might be difficult to put up with this type of conversation, but it had to be in that direction. Because it hasn't been done very often where we can allow to actually say these things. Many are not ready to say it, many are not ready to hear it, but it seems to be becoming okay to say. There's much dealings of your history that has been fully lost. Such as your day-to-day life in Atlantis is not truly needed to be known, but you are almost reliving it now. But not need to be known. Not now. As for your Earth today, now, this is why I can say, yes, your Middle East has much alien activity. As for conversation of awakenings there. Understand the hostilities are very heavy, but we are doing what we can to connect to societies there to bring a more peaceful time. Because as your Russia, your Middle East can be another place of our disclosure. So it is very much important. So you have a peaceful place, and the hostilities there are intense. Your ISIS. One moment. Your ISIS was born to keep your Earth asleep. Yes, notice how they're a very third world. They're like villainous cowboys. In a time like this, notice there's no nuclear war going on at this time. That is alien influence. So what do? They build a terrorist group where that is wild and unable. Understand, with your nuclear arms, we can disable those easily. But as for your terrorists, as they move around, we cannot disable all of them. We can somewhat get involved with those. But with the nuclear arms, we can disable them because many have much service to self to close your Earth down immediately. But as for your skirmishes here that are not popular at all, we cannot get too involved with that. We do set our energies. We are with other species bringing a peace where we can make it peaceful. In other places we are assisting. As the world is hostile in some areas, we are bringing as much love and compassion we can to those that aren't being pulled into this web of Syrian and Reptilian service to self. It is putting the blinders on your society as much as possible, but understand it's also awakening many to spirituality. Not to say we want to go in this direction. We do not. But we cannot interfere either. It is not for us to get involved. It's for humanity to get involved. This is one situation we have no place in. We can assist as much as we can. Behind, you could say, unseen, but that's all we can do. A message from your reptilians. Now understand, yes, this is not all reptilian intervention, not at all. There are other species, your human government. This is a message from your, yes. Your human government. The shadow elites also are much involved to take money from those that they feel that do not no longer need it, and to bring fear into places that they know they can take control over. Yes, they are vicious, but they are also a time bomb all on their own. Because the ones that are running it can't even trust each other. But it does not truly matter because there's so many different sectors of it around. It does not truly matter. They all have one way of looking at things, and that is destruction, unfortunately. And many of these souls that get involved are lost souls. Yes, grow up poor, not all, but many. You find and have no love and see no love. But our energies with the Pleiadians and reptilians and other species are very much involved in bringing a mass understanding of not to bring fear into your earth. Of course, our message can only be heard by owners of those of the spirit. Unfortunately, that is the best we can do. Our influence are heavy within the other reptilian, these other races, I should say, that are empowering these individuals. Destroy your old history, make a new one. But this is only accelerating the ascension process for many in a positive way. Yes, the negativity is heavy, but also the ascension process is moving quicker in a positive way because many are seeing, they are walking towards the spiritual awareness, but not fully understanding. I will not say ever, but it is difficult for many, especially in a time of mourning, to fully grasp this information of alien and angelic. But there are many bases of Pleiadian here on this planet that are very much involved in the healing of your Earth. Many of them have actually been recently placed here. Some underwater, some in places of fourth density energies so they cannot be seen. Where we have increased our numbers here. I'm not just speaking of the Pleiadians, but other species also. These Pleiadian bases and other species, and I would not call them fortresses, but in some ways they are. They're not necessarily, they are healing centers, but they're also, it is where we do not have to be on ship, where we can be on land close by. Yes, we already have this in your other dimensions, but this is much increased itself where we can flip a switch and be seen in your third density if we wish to be. These numbers are increasing as we move closer to your first contact, which is some time away, but we are preparing more than usual. And also acceptance into the Galactic Federation of Light is getting closer, still has much to do, as your negativity continues. And how to end this negativity? It is for you to find that out, for you to discover it on your own. We can assist, but that is all we can do. But I guarantee you, your world is safe. As for other aliens getting involved, there are some of your, they don't need to be named, that tried to be tricksters with your humans, but we are working on it to bring a more positive influence here. We do not have that any longer. Especially as the channelers begin to channel, we are working on to make sure that you not have beings of questionable that are questionable coming through. We are working much harder on that as many become more awakened to their abilities. One moment. But yes, the shell has been cracked on your planet. You are now receiving more downloads than ever before. And these alien bases that have continued in their arrival will help much society as for alien connections when they are ready. We're preparing for those when they become ready. So it'll be easy to access us. You can say it's almost like a cell phone tower is close to you, but it is nothing like that. But it is similar in some regard. It does not have any radiation, but so we can connect to you easier without having to fly around in our ships all day, you could say. Nothing wrong with that, but now we are feeling more at home here as you become more accessible to us. And the histories of your Earth will be slowly unraveling. But as for those that are ready to be prepared, be ready for themselves to go to the next level of alien influences, realize, yes, this has been said many times, we're not going anywhere. And for your humans to realize that we do not exist, you might want to think twice about it. Because it is just, what is in your entertainment? Your technologies did not come from nowhere. This is all alien intervention. Much of the gray energy was involved with this planet. As for your many, I don't believe this was said to this channel yet. It has been channeled to him, but never mentioned. But during your Industrial Revolution, many species were here bringing technologies here, where your human did not understand how to use them. Downloads, they were done different ways. And this is why you had some humans that, yes, they had to learn, but still, there are many casualties to some of your technologies in your past. Because the downloads weren't done correctly, we did not fully understand the human at all. Yes, the Akashic records were downloaded, but also much of that was alien influence that was downloaded also into your humans. And this awakening was the invention was not fully understood. Yes, many casualties had to be undone, unfortunately, because we're too alien to connect with you properly, so you do not have any casualties. Those aliens are known as grays. Much of it was gray, but there were other species, but mostly gray. Had to step back from this Earth, but they still influenced your society quite well. There are inventions that did not need to be named, but they were part of your Industrial Revolution. And your World War II was another way of bringing some much needed information as for alien technologies to assist you with your ascension process. All of this is known. We have our ambassadors on Ashtar Command that are at a higher density levels that know more about this than we do. But we can tell you this, because we are only allowed to say so much as you can see, and only us, we only know so much. Much of it is not needed for us, you could say, at this time. No one knows everything. But there are many that do see your timeline clearly, and saw your World War II as a positive. Yes, much negativity happened, but also as a positive, to move you out of this darkness. Yes, it was not something that was executed well. And one understand free will caused much of the casualties, but yes, it was nothing to be. Yes, it was human intervention, alien intervention. It had many mixtures of much negativity during that time. The technology brought into this earth was to bring about an awakening that you're going through right now. Yes, hard to believe at this time, but much needed. Because of the negativity on your world, those that are starving, those are mentally ill and cannot receive good care. And many here are restricted. They cannot travel like they like to and do the things they like to do because of restrictions of money. Much of this will be released where you can have what you wish and discover more of your talents without having the use of money. Yes, the cycle is over as for not knowing about us. The cycle of knowing about us has begun. Channeling is one way of beginning. There would be other ways, but for right now, channeling is the best we have as for connecting with you. We have to be careful on many things. Our direction on where we go with you. Yes. Yes, the yo will most likely have a conversation with you much more clear than ours. Ours was kind of stop and go, wasn't it? But it much needed to be like that so you can see the fragile information. I know that was the other way. Your humanity, as it is, yes, as Netflix as it is. Entertainment driven, sports driven, yes, yes, and economic slavery that much needs to be removed for you to ascend properly. Look at your world and see the prison that you are in. It is not necessarily a prison, but it has its borders around each other. And then you say aliens do not exist, but then you have to look at the world you are living in. You say a prison does not exist, but yes, you are living in one. Some look at your films and see a future of dystopia, of carnage, but you haven't looked at your society that way, now have you? How can you live in a society like this, where you have those that are starving, and where you have disease, where you not have cures of much of these diseases, and much of it has been created by your governments, well, shadow governments, to keep your population at bay, to keep those that they wish not to be a part of your planet off your planet. Yes, the gays were attacked very much by your AIDS virus because, I believe you're already aware of this, but I'll give this to you anyway. It's because you're discovering your sexuality, and what is most important? What is most important is you. And this is why your AIDS virus was created, to keep these people from becoming as they are today. I would say these people, that's not correct, that is not very nice. But you understand, that's lifestyle, not to be seen as a positive as it is now. They wanted to make it difficult as possible. They're trying to annihilate them from the world. Because as you become more sexually free, especially with gender swapping, discovering yourselves, they know they're losing their battle on your planet. You're controllers. And many used to see this, oh, that is, people are people. It does not matter their sexual preference. A loving person, it does not matter. And those that are playing God on your planet know very well, when you become to know yourself and just be free with yourself, they have a problem because they can no longer control you. Especially with their televisions, their Netflix, eventually those will lose their power. And even your religions will eventually lose their power because you'll be finding God on your own and experiencing more fourth density energies, a fifth density energies. Some say this is impossible. It is not impossible. The ways of your world, the chemicals in your food, your water is not safe. I mean, what is this world? As it is, you are going into a cleanse. We no longer need dirty water. We no longer need your bottled water, which is not exactly clean either. Yes, you're discovering sexuality. Your races are still having an issue as for race, but still much better than it used to be. It will take time, and now your alien influences and move into your society. Instead of this big secret, we are now going to be known worldwide that we are not going anywhere. Oh yes, this is fake. Ah yes, you are living in a controlled society. Yes, you are free. You might want to think again about your freedom here. But yes, you are free to witness this, which is saying something, which is good. But now it's time to undo these shackles around you and believe that you are alone in your universe. You might want to think again about that. Yes, we cannot show ourselves. We cannot. Aliens cannot be in your environment, not with the hostilities going on here. But we are in your skies, and we are on your ground also. We do make our appearances when we feel fit. Of course, where we are permitted to certain. But how much influence would that be if a reptilian showed up on your planet? How well do you think that's going to go on in your world? And a loving reptilian, one that just wants to give you a big kiss. How would your society involve it? How would it accept that? It would not. It is much backward and it needs to be turned more loving and more joyful place. And it has much work there. Especially with those that indulge themselves with alcohol and cigarettes to lower their vibration. They say they're a light worker, but yes, they indulge in these dark features that take you down into a dark world. It does. It does lower your vibration. Your cigarettes, your alcohol, they both lower your vibration. I've done there are some alcohols that do help you move up. Most don't. A high consumption is not always done well. This is mostly, yes, alcohol done at a high consumption, and I guess cigarettes are okay if it's 1 or 2, but most better than not at all. Alcohol does improve your body, depending on what it is. Wines, certain non-chemical alcohols are okay. Just so I'm being clear, I want to ban everything from your planet. But as for this propaganda machine as your television, will eventually lose its power also. You are now learning of your sexualities, being more open. But it's now time to unravel much other things, such as your government control, your money system that has you in prison. Not to, yes, not to say it is a prison, but has prison-like capabilities on, doesn't it? Limitations on you, doesn't it? Yes, a government that is not necessarily for the people, but one to watch the people and care for it like zoo animals, like a zookeeper. And not to bring negativity to that. Not to bring in a protest. It's time to yes, pull out the love card. Love each other. Send love to those in your White House and other places. I have been here long enough. Hopefully my energies connect with you well. We are the Pleiadians. We love you so much. Yes, this isn't exactly the best communication we've had, but on the way. Yes, filtering, but also information that we never think we would ever be able to bring to you. Not this soon. Not to say we're not prepared, but we are going through a test run. We guarantee information will be much more clear, but even then we can't be for sure. Because you have many here, and there's a big conversation here. So in truth, it does not truly matter. But you're seeing, yes, you are seeing the bread being made. We are not perfect either. We have our flaws. Much love to you in your awakening processes. You all just, there is so much we will bring to your table eventually. But hopefully some of this, maybe a little bit, maybe one word, maybe some of this information will bring an understanding of you being here, my friends.